marriage, it's not rocket science. Have Christ as your cornerstone, be fully committed, and keep growing as an individual and as a couple. Just figure it out. At each season is different. But I think a lot of people, we focus on the marriage, and we miss that crucial ingredient of just growing as an individual.
Hey there, it is Faith Talk Today. I'm Rick Probst. Hey, welcome to another amazing weekend. This guy you hear from time to time on Focus on the Family. Dr. Greg Smalley is the VP of Marriage and Family Foundation of Focus on the Family. In fact, we had his wife, who is amazing, Erin, on the show. I think the second weekend show that we had on Faith Talk Today. So good to have you, Doc. What's going on?
We're on the eve of doing an international trip. So we're going to do a whole bunch of marriage stuff in Malaysia. So,
oh my gracious.
Yeah. So Erin and I get to go, and we're so excited. We love doing that. We love ministering together. And she always says that she launched your show. So that it's good to be with you, to verify if that's really true.
Thank you, Erin. We appreciate you. Hey, Doc, thank you. Before we get into the particulars, because there's a topic that we want to talk about, of course, marriage and family. Divorce rates are down.
Yeah.
Ever since I can remember, all I've ever heard is divorce rates are up. But I want to find out what's going on there. And you and Erin have an amazing podcast. We want to dig into that as well. Crazy little thing called marriage. But first, now I know you're traveling with ministry. What are you guys doing with the kids for Christmas? Are you guys empty nesters? I can't remember.
Not yet. So we have a 29 and 26-year-old daughters. Then we have a 22-year-old son, and then a 16-year-old daughter. So we still have one at home, and she's mobile now. We've got her drive-in. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
I've been driving kids for like 25 years in school. So it's been a weird transition. And I think actually we're going to be home, and our oldest daughter and her husband are going to come. They live in Oklahoma, and they're going to be in Colorado with us. So we're excited to have them join us this year.
Now, do you guys just chill, or do you have traditions? Do you play games and almost kill each other? What do you guys do for Christmas?
Well, I almost had our family kill each other last Christmas because I wanted to create a new tradition, just fun. Right before, we open up gifts, we always go through the Christmas story and read out of Luke. And so we did that. But then I took all the kids into a room and basically had them do an escape room.
Oh, wow.
To get out of the room so they can open up their presents.
Oh,
and
my.
I thought it was going to be fun, and it'd be awesome, great memory, new tradition. It was so hard that they all got so frustrated that they started fighting. And so here we're trying to celebrate the birth of Jesus, and everybody's mad at each other. So probably won't do that again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from Dr. Smalley. Do not do one of those escape rooms for Christmas,
or at least do an easy one. That's my error, is I didn't check that out, and it was like super, super hard. So
that's interesting, right? Because of family dynamics. Now, my wife, she would love to do one of those, but she likes to zip line and jump out of airplanes and stuff.
Oh,
for me, I'm just like, I'll sit in a chair and just chill. But that's a part of marriage, and we've learned the yin and yang of each other, I guess, if you will. Let's segue into marriage. So, ever since I can remember, and by the way, I've been married 41 years.
Wow,
and
congratulations.
Thanks to some help from your dad, who was amazing.
Yeah.
All the things that he and your mom put out there over the years, and you and your wife, Erin, as well. But hey, it hasn't been a picnic. It hasn't been a walk in a park. There's been challenges on both ends, and we've had to learn what to do. And of course, lean on God. But early on, we said we would not bring up the D word. Yeah. And that has been one of the things that's really kept us both solid, even through challenges over 41 years. But here, 50 years now, divorce rates falling. Tell us more. How come?
Yeah. There's a good in sort of bad news part of that. The good news is that's a great message. In fact, the divorce rates are falling, and we need to spread that because often all we hear is the high divorce rate. In our country, the divorce rate has been for a couple has been about 40%, 42% divorce rates. And yet we never talk about the 58% of those couples who stay together.
Yeah.
And so I love the message around that going, let's say that. Let's encourage people. Our younger couples need to know that marriage, as God has given us that amazing gift, is an awesome thing. And let's do that. And you're right, it takes work, but it's the greatest adventure that we'll ever go on together. And so I love that. I love that message. Part of the reason why the divorce rate has been going down is that couples are choosing to cohabitate. So they're living together. Many are delaying marriage until they kind of get established and travel and do all these other
Mhm.
things. And then
Mhm.
kind of is a capstone to their life. Well, then I'll find kind of my life partner. And then many singles are just not choosing not to get married. So I think what that's doing is that a lot of those couples who are cohabitating or delaying marriage, they would probably be the ones who would be more at risk for getting divorced. And so you're kind of taking them out of that group. And so the ones who are actually getting married are probably the ones who are going to be more committed. They're going to work on their marriage. They're going to develop that grit. In like you and I, we've been married 31 years. So it although it's a good news story and a good message, it's really the reason why is that people just aren't choosing to get married. Those are probably the ones who would divorce, in the end. So it's, it like you said, I mean, Aaron and I did exactly, Rick, what you guys did, which is that early on our marriages, we encountered all kinds of problems. We would joke about divorce. I'd say things like, well, you just, I guess if you're just not happy, why are you still with me? And we finally just said, you know what, we're not going to joke about that.
Yeah.
We're never going to use the word divorce doesn't exist in our vocabulary. In which means that we've got to keep then growing in working on our marriage, working on us as individuals. We even tell our kids, don't joke about divorce. The other day, my son, who's 22, he's just finishing up college, and we were all together, and I said something trying to be funny to my wife Erin, and Garrison kind of gave her that look like, you know, why are you still with this guy? I mean, he's just totally playing. But I pulled my son aside later and I said, "Hey Garrison, I know your heart. I know you didn't mean this at all, but let me just make it really clear. Mom and I don't joke about divorce. I don't want you doing it either. Don't speak that over my marriage." And of course he's like, "Dad, whoa, back like I didn't." I said, "I know. Just hear what I'm saying. I don't ever want that sort of thing spoken over my marriage." And he goes, "All right." He goes, I get what you're saying. Because we want our kids to understand the sacredness of this relationship, and we don't joke about it.
So good. Dr. Greg Smalley, VP of Marriage, Family Foundation, focused on the family. He and his wife, Erin, also have a podcast called Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage, and that'll help you as well. I don't care what your demo is. I don't care how long you've been married, how short. It's a really great podcast. So much I want to ask you, Doc. I wish we had more time. What does it mean to you when you see young, middle, old folks that have been married for a short or long period of time, and you see them get it? And it is a growing thing, isn't it? It never stops. We celebrated our 41st this last weekend, and we learned some things about each other. And here it's been 41 years, so we're trying to continue to adjust and be good role models for our older. I mean, we have men. We have three boys. They're men now, not boys.
Yeah.
But we want to continue. How does that make you feel when people really lock in and say, you know what, we're going to see this thing through?
I love it. I love it for them because there's nothing better than being, 31 years with my very best friend. I know what that feels like. And I know it's hard when we have those hard moments or even those hard seasons. But I love it for them. I love it as a community. We need to be surrounded by people fighting for their marriage, and then that we benefit as a community. Our kids benefit. And so I love that. I love on our podcast, we always end when we're doing an interview, and we always asked if whoever we're interviewing, if you could go back to that wedding day, you're standing at the altar, what advice would you give that young you as you stood there?
So good.
And I've thought about that in the biggest thing that I think I've learned about marriage is that what I would go back and tell the younger me is that, man, you're bringing a whole lot of baggage into this marriage. In excuse me, it tears me up. In I would tell that young me, you're going to hurt your wife. That stuff you're not dealing with, that baggage you're carrying, you're going to hurt you, and you're going to hurt her, and you're going to hurt your marriage. And you're going to figure it out, and you're going to get help eventually. But man, I wish I would have known how important it is to really do that work as an individual all along the way. And I always tell couples, marriage, it's not rocket science. Have Christ as your cornerstone, be fully committed, and keep growing as an individual and as a couple. Just figure it out. At each season is different. But I think a lot of people, we focus on the marriage, and we miss that crucial ingredient of just growing as an individual. And so that's the message I always try to give my kids is, don't look for the perfect spouse, become the perfect spouse. In other words, deal with you.
That's good.
Keep growing and get healthy. And man, I've got Aaron and I have scars, emotional scars from all those years that we just had to figure it out. We figured it out, and that's a beautiful part of those scars are a beautiful part of our love story now. But I wish that someone would have said, yeah, you got stuff and you're going to hurt her.
So good. Dr. Greg Smalley, we're running out of time. Hey, check out Focus on the Family. You'll hear Doc and Aaron on there from time to time. You hear that here at Faith Talk Atlanta, but check out the podcast too. Of course, all the resources, the books, etc. Crazy little thing called Marriage is the podcast. They drop one every week. So go ahead and listen to that on the way to work, at home, and maybe as a husband and wife or not. It just depends. And then you can use it to, just like you said, become the perfect, don't look for the perfect spouse, be the perfect partner, marriage partner, husband and or wife, or husband and wife. Doc, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you for all the sacrifices you've made over the years, you and Aaron both. And thank you for keeping on and just imparting to all of us. We really do appreciate you and love you. Have a great holiday. Would love to talk to you in 2024. So much to learn from what you and Aaron have gone through or continue to grow. Hey, we got to take a break. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ezra Ortiz, my producer, for putting this together. Thank you for getting Doc Smalley on. And again, check out the podcast and all the great stuff there. Until next weekend, I'm Rick Probst. Have a great week. We'll see you.